Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between viOlet and Iaguz on Invader, the latter edition. In the bottom left side of the map, we have the blue Zerg player. It is viOlet, who is a dude, according to Liquipedia. And in the bottom right side of the map, we have the red Terran player. It is Iaguz, the Australian Terran player we have seen on the channel already. Again, I assume it is Iaguz and not Iaguz or Iaguz or something like that. But again, if you're a fan of his and I'm absolutely butchering the name, please let me know in the comments, and I will fix it later on. The reason I haven't checked the comments in the previous video is because it hasn't posted yet at the time of this recording. I run a buffer of about 5 to 7 days, just in case something happens, just in case I have to go to the hospital or have to get surgery or something. And I don't want you guys to miss your daily Legacy of the Void uploads. Alright, so, hatch first out of viOlet, no real big surprise there. And what looks like a Reaper expand based on the timing of that gas and that barracks there too. We've seen more and more Marines coming out of this first barracks though, right away. No Reapers at all. Again, they're good for scouting, but considering the fact you can SCV scout fairly well if you want to, it's not really something that you need to worry about. Like the Reaper is the only thing that can scout. That's just not the case. And yep, there's the gas coming out. 3 workers on that refinery. Never really seen anything but that from the Terran player. And moment of truth for Iaguz. Indeed, it is going to be a Marine. Okay, so Marine coming out, playing some more defense rather than offense. Not worried about scouting whatsoever. Feeling like viOlet's fairly standard here. Not going to go for an early pool. Although I think maybe we've seen viOlet do that before. I'm trying to remember, but either way, not worried about early pools coming in and wrecking his expansion or getting up into his main base. Although if you think about it, if it was a quick pool from viOlet, Lings would be showing up right about now. And this isn't walled off. This is completely vulnerable. There's a single Marine here. And I suppose, again, just no scouting whatsoever. So Iaguz, assuming that viOlet's not going to do anything too crazy, has his Marine, but viOlet did scout it out. And so what that does, that actually tells Iaguz where viOlet is. viOlet's down here, and viOlet also knows that Iaguz is over here. So no secrets from each other at this point. viOlet should be looking to go for a third hatch at some point. Again, he doesn't know there's a command center coming up for the Terran player, but you just have to assume at this point that that's the case. I like this. A little bit of a wall up with a supply depot and a bunker coming up. Yes, Lings can still kind of sneak around this side here, but I think maybe throwing up another barracks there, maybe another building here, you can get a bit of a full wall off, which is nice. It's weird, right? It's really odd to have this much open space and that full curve around from the outside up into your main, basically, which is why there's a wall off here as well. Hellion production? Yeah, going for Hellions for the early harass instead of a Reaper. Once again, viOlet has been bothered not a whit and is up 27 to 23 workers as a result. Queens in production. Speed coming up too. There's that starport. Starport on the way for Iaguz. Might go for some early Liberator play. Once again, this is not something that was played after the latest patch. So Liberators do full damage to everything instead of just getting that bonus to light and having the damage to all other air units nerfed for that anti-air attack. Overlord scouting on in. Ah, there's debris here too. There's debris here as well. Alright, so this is something that I think Iaguz needs to watch out for. Ling's knocking this down, Roach's knocking it down, because then this wall is pretty much useless. Once again, not a full wall. Ling run-bys can happen, which is why the wall's here at the front door as well. There's that third hatch coming up for viOlet. Ding! Not taking it here, which I find a little bit surprising. Let's see why that would be. I guess there are 2 separate ways to get in there, which is annoying. High ground is nice, perhaps just trying to hide it. Will Iaguz even check this before moving in with these Hellions? I don't know that he will. So, oh, he does check. Alright, so the Hellions go up the ramp, say, hey, this is where the third hatchery is. We can't kill it because we're Hellions and we do extra damage against light. And we're fairly terrible against buildings and armored stuff like that. So I think they're just playing contain right now. They have map control. viOlet, again, does have some scouting overlords. Ooh, good scout on that Liberator, though. Well played, well positioned by viOlet. And that's something I think Iaguz has to know is happening, that there's a Liberator on the way, but it was scouted, and indeed a Spore Crawler on the way. A Queen is here too. In production is, I don't know, just barely sitting out here to go ahead and knock down one drone, and oh, almost gets 2. Almost gets 2, sneaks on in. Why isn't the Queen even responding at all here for viOlet? Ah, it's a big attack down here with 3 Hellions. 1 Hellion has died already. Another one's going to die. The Ling's really desperately trying to take these things out. And meanwhile, Liberator just going to town. Already has 4 kills. All the Hellions get cleaned up, though. That is not good for Iaguz. Spore Caller popping on up there does force the Liberator out of there after getting 4 kills, 4 drone kills along that left side. The base is coming up. And once again, I think viOlet could afford to lose that. Yeah, he's up 44 to 37 workers. More worker kills, though. This is so frustrating for the Zerg player. Forced to stop mining almost entirely at this base just for a little bit. Queen trying... Oh, the Spore Crawler is in range. A bit of a miscalculation there by Iaguz. He thought he was out of range of the Spore, but he was not. The Spore plus the Queen means dead Liberator. And there it goes. So 6 workers killed for a Liberator and essentially 4 Hellions. Is that what that was? Which means resources lost is 700 for Iaguz and only 500 for viOlet. Again, losing some drones, which still doing okay on that worker count, 55 to 43 workers, and APM is well over 300 for both of these players on average throughout this game. Speedlings running around trying to see if there's a third base taken. Nope, no third base by Iaguz, nothing to worry about along those lines. Overlord up top just hanging out, enjoying a good old time, and holding both Xel'Naga watchtowers is viOlet. Very, very good play indeed. I love to see this from Zergs, making sure they have map control, making sure they can see where drops are coming. Whoever holds that really does have the key to the information they need to win this game. viOlet is going for Burrow in addition to Glial Reconstitution and Zerground Carapace level 1. We have seen that from viOlet before, getting Burrow. Usually gets Burrow Move here, which is Tunneling Claws. I like to call it Burrow Move just because that's what they do. They burrow and they move. Enables roaches to burrow when moving. And right now, Iaguz is really content. Just kind of sit back and macro up. He's going for a 3rd command center here at 6 minutes and 18 seconds. He's getting Marines. He's getting +1/+1 for his bio units and stim pack and medevacs and all the stuff you come to expect from a Terran player. The question is tanks. All right. So he's getting tanks. There's usually something to supplement the Terran army. It's Marine Marauders, medevacs, and either tanks, Widow Mines, Liberators, things like that. Was there another attempted thing over here? I keep seeing flashes, but no. Nope, nothing else happening here for Iaguz. I'm not going to say he got completely shut down there, but his first Liberator attempt was not the greatest. Again, just kind of misjudged where to place that thing as a Marine does get splatted on the ground. But taking the 3rd here is Iaguz, not trying to land it here whatsoever. Ling's possibly going to go for a scout. Oh, I see. The supply depots can be raised to keep the Lings out. The Ling, ooh, tank fire. Taking him out very easily, though. Siege tank with 1 kill. Doesn't get 2. I'm not sure officially. I guess these Marines officially kill those other Lings, so that would make a lot of sense. Here comes a roach push from viOlet. I just don't know. Like, all these buildings really mess with the AI of roaches. If they try to attack this, they're in a lot of trouble. This might be a better target, actually. Oh, the burrow roaches. Oh, you Marines are in so much trouble. Ready? Pop! viOlet? Okay, viOlet decides to let these Marines live. They would all be dead, depending on Iaguz's response time and the quickness with which he picks them up in his medevac. No, instead he's going to burrow move his way on in. Check this base, viOlet. This is completely ready for ripe for the picking. Ripe for the picking. Is there a missile turret anywhere here? No. All right, so we'll see how far these roaches can get. They are on a mission. It is mission impossible, everybody. Trying to sneak on in here, and they do split a little bit. I'm not sure if Iaguz can see this. I think he can see it if he... Earn it, come back. Yeah, he can kind of see the shadows if he's paying very close attention. But there it is, popping up here right inside this mineral line. Going to take out a lot of these workers. Coming up the ramp, though, is Iaguz's army. The roaches holding them off. This is a lot of dead SCVs for sure. Trying to get rid of the missile turret so they can burrow, and they do. And they burrow enough for a scan. There is barely enough for a scan here for Iaguz. He needs to scan. Needs to scan. Splitting off roaches. Having burrowed roaches inside your main base is a bad look. But Marines coming on up with the +1/+1 and the stim. Might force a cancel. No, the roaches decide to pop on up. They're going to clean this out. No problem. Unless the hatch falls first. Can he save the hatch? No, the hatch does end up exploding. Another Widow Mine drop over here. Has a bunch of kills as well. 6 kills on that one. 1 kill on that one there. The roach is getting cleaned out. There's still a roach there. There's still a bunch of roaches over here. This does require Iaguz to keep some units in here for defense unless he just leaves. He might just leave with them, though. That would not be good at all for him. Roaches also sitting over here. The multi-pronged attacks are insane. Roaches heading on out. Pathogen glands on the way for viOlet. Taking up 2 infestors at the very least. Has a roach back here too. Alright, so there's blue everywhere. Everywhere on planet Earth. And the missile turret pops on up. More dead SCVs. And the missile turret getting sniped on down. Can it be saved? No, Iaguz does not even try to save it there. Unfortunately for him. And the roach is going to burrow. Where was that scan used? I saw a scan. The roaches decide to head on out. This is not a very safe place to be. This medevac keeps making me think it is a Liberator, but it's not. But it's not. These guys could move in and get some kills if they wanted. viOlet, where's your attention right now? I guess it's with the remainder of these burrowed roaches. And going for a hive, getting infestors, really using this burrow roach pressure to make things happen. Oh, there's the scan. And getting rid of those roaches, so that's very nice indeed. But a huge push up here with a ton of roaches might actually get this command center. No, decides to leave, doesn't want to lose any more roaches than he has to, and burrows with the additional healing that comes with burrowing and decides to get on out. All right, roaches. Again, around the outskirts of this main base. So many hatcheries for viOlet, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does he have 6 already? 6 hatch. Holy shamoly. All right, so burrow roaches still moving on in here. It's 192 to 160 total supply, 133 to 112 army supply. Iaguz, more roach attacks, trying to make stuff happen, but just absolutely getting murdered too. That's a lot of roach blood there. Got to keep an eye on that minimap. These guys desperately trying to get out of the circle of death. In this case, it's a scan circle and not a defender mode circle. And yeah, just more and more supply depots being thrown on up here. Roaches trying to deal with these guys. Upgrades are +2 on the armor. And they decide just to go ahead and die in the ground, which is okay. Which is A-okay. Here's a big drop, though. +1, +2 on these guys. Trying to drop on in. Roaches kill a Marine. Ling's coming in here, too. Ooh, Spore Crawler taking out a Medevac. Nice pickup. Can they get another Medevac? That would be excellent indeed. Corrosive Bile almost landing. Oh, they do catch a Medevac just barely. Just barely on the edge there. The Infestors were ready for the Fungal Bile, but they weren't quite there in time. They did pop with an additional 25 energy, which means as soon as they exist, they can throw down a fungal growth. But in that case, they were not able to pull it off. Ultralisk Cavern on the way for viOlet. Iaguz, you getting a Ghost Academy, man? Do you particularly have Liberators? No, I don't think he does. He is going Marine Marauder Medevac with no tanks and 6 Widow Mines. This is not going to work. If there are Ultras coming out for viOlet in the next couple of minutes, I don't see any way that Iaguz survives this. We've learned this lesson from Legacy of the Void, man. We really have. If you don't get Liberators or a ton of Marauders or just a handful of Ghosts, you cannot survive Ultras as Terran. Iaguz moving up with another drop here. Any static defense? Just now throwing up some static defense. I don't think it'll be ready by the time this drop comes, but perhaps the army could move up and try to intercept it with some Fungal Bile, as a lot of Ravagers and Infestors are here. Burrow Roaches moving back on in. The multitasking from viOlet has been absolutely insane. It's 61 to 46 workers income tab. Again, fairly even because mules are good, as we can see here, but the gas income definitely favoring our Zerg player right now. And tried to burrow in. Widowmine shot. Actually got some friendly fire there, I think. The Roaches just standing on in. +2/+2 on these guys, but guess what? The Marauders are also +2/+2. They get rid of the Spine Crawler. One Spine Crawler does just barely exist here. Can they get the fungal off? No, gets out of there in time. Iaguz a little bit too smart for that. He knows there are Infestors on the field. He knows you stick around too long, you will just die. Chitinous Plating. +3 Carapace coming up for viOlet. He's been doing, keep it up on his upgrades for quite a while now. There's a nice fungal, and the Ultra is coming right on in with the armor. More fungals, and the Fungal Bile taking out some units there. All the way back home now is Iaguz. He cannot stand and fight this thing. He's picking up, he's running as best he can. Actually moving in for an attack, trying to abuse the fact that Ultras cannot necessarily follow them over this terrain. Another drop up here. A single Ultra going to try to stop this thing, and you know what? Just might do it, unless the kiting is very good from Iaguz. A drop back down on here. Shuts down all the mining on what I think is the 4th base. A drop in the main base here, too. Taking out everything. This Queen taking shots to the face. Ling's trying to get a full wrap around here, but they don't have any attack upgrades, I don't think. Oh, they have +1 now. They do have +1, and this attack gets cleaned up for viOlet. Iaguz hanging out, and more Marauders and Liberators on the way, as well as weapons +3 for the infantry. These guys are still alive, and they're going to get the Ultra Cavern. What? How did that happen? Nice dodge as well from Iaguz. Going to land down here, kill some more drones, and another push on up here. viOlet is not actually looking super good right now. Taking out that spine. More and more drones are falling. It's still 71 to 46 workers, which is a bit of a problem for the Terran. He's not necessarily expanding behind this. He's spending his money pretty well, but he's not necessarily up to his 4th or his 5th base, which is what I would expect at this point. All right, so viOlet has lost a lot of workers. 25 workers killed by Iaguz, 27 killed by viOlet, though, so both players have taken massive hits to their economy. It's just that viOlet's been able to replace them and increase that count. That means he's up so high in worker count at this moment. Adrenal glands on the way for viOlet. More and more Infestors popping out, too. Has he lost any of those things? Infestors 1. Okay, so he lost all his Infestors somewhere. Not sure which of those attacks it was, but that's not a good look for viOlet. 194 to 181 total supply. Liberator count is currently at 4, which is fine. Fungal Bile pretty good against them, and honestly, just straight up Bile. Corrosive Bile really good against Liberators too, depending on the angle they can attack from. So Iaguz knows he cannot sit back. He cannot wait for viOlet to replant. That Ultralisk Cavern. 5 drones die very quickly there with a Widow Mine drops. Ooh, attempted drop here. Spore Crawler taking it out of the sky. Defender mode not quite enabled yet from these female Liberator pilots. Setting up the circles. There we go. There are the circles. And viOlet trying best to figure out a way to get in here. Corrosive Biles from the high ground. Pretty good. Ooh, Liberator 1 and 2 dies. The perfect number of Corrosive Biles. Exactly what viOlet needed there. Lings pushing on in. Ravagers pushing on in. The Ultras in the back. Not a good place for them. Now finally getting to the front. One explodes very quickly though. There's the Fungal on top of all of the units on the north. A good spread, however, from Iaguz. But in production are 5 more Ultralisks right now. These are very low on health. Very high stimmed units. +3, +2 on these guys. And there's not any Fungals. Nothing to hold them in place. Then the Ultras will get kited until they die. Iaguz trying to take a base somewhere. More Widow Mine shots. Oh, Widow Mines, you are good. You are good. Now 41 workers killed by Iaguz. Still 76 to 46 workers. So viOlet is used to taking massive amounts of damage. Not super worried about it though. Here comes Iaguz and Infestor Ultra. Gonna be the thing that's gonna try to save the day for... Wait, what's happening here? Did they... What is happening? Did they remake this thing? Alright, well bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'll figure this out, and I will be right back. Alright, StarCraft fans, so here's what happened. I pulled up the message log, and apparently viOlet requested a pause for lag. Iaguz said, come on, Blizz, not the time. And apparently they're getting 1,000 on the ping results. And after a lot of discussion, apparently they just awarded the game to viOlet because, as far as I can tell, army supply were fairly similar, but the worker supply and the number of bases just meant that viOlet won according to the Liquidpedia results. So, viOlet wins the day. Terran basically almost came back. Iaguz, better luck next time. And yes, please send all complaints about this match to Blizzard because lag is very, very unacceptable in tournaments. But hey, they don't want to use LAN, and that is their choice. Okay, so that's it for me. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another weird daily Legacy of the Void upload. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.